everyone, we're back with Girl Talk. And with me is the founder and editor-in-chief of the very popular blog and one I love to read so much, Forever 20-somethings, Samantha Matt. Thanks so much for being here, Sam.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
First off, I love your blog. I read it. It makes me laugh. And in today's society, I feel like everyone has a blog. Like, I have a blog. People have food blogs. I have travel blogs. So how did you create your blog, and how did you make it stand out so much? Because it's so popular. It's very popular in, like, the girl world.
Thank you. I hope it's popular. I started it over 3 years ago in March of 2011. I graduated from college in 2010, and after that it took me a long time to find a full-time job.
Okay, understandable.
It's not easy. So I looked for 8 months, and I had internships. I, did the whole thing, job searching. It was a rough time, but I got through. And when I did get my first job, I was doing video production for a corporate company, and I was kind of bored a lot.
Right.
That happens.
It's not
First
always.
job, there wasn't a lot for me to do, and I had always wanted to start my own blog because around that time, Twitter was popular, but not as much as it became like that year. And I started a blog on a whim. My first post was like, I'm going to talk about movies, drinking, music, fashion, and myself.
Love it.
Yeah,
Love it.
but it was totally personal. It was like a free template on WordPress, whatever.
Yeah.
So after a few posts of me writing about like my day and Captain Morgan and going out, I started posting on Facebook, and people responded to it. And that was pretty crazy for me, that people I hadn't talked to in years were like, we love what you're doing. Wow. It's inspired me to work out. Like one girl about a workout post, which is awesome to me.
Yeah, wow.
And I started a Twitter page. I started a Facebook specifically for the blog, and it picked up from there. And people started contacting me about wanting to write articles, and it just went
feel like
from
it blew
there
up,
out
though.
of nowhere. Yeah.
Well, one thing I love about your blog so much is that, yourself as a writer, but all your writers, they're just so honest that it's hilarious. Like, you're not trying to prove anything. You're just, like, saying the honest truth. This is what it is. And I love that so much because I feel like I don't have to pretend to be someone. This is who girls are. This is them at their natural state. So how do you find those kind of topics to write about where you can be honest? Like, where does your inspiration come from?
Everyone always asks me that, and I don't even know if I have a straight answer about that. It comes from everything.
Okay.
Life, a lot of what I wrote about 3 years ago was about the job search and just graduating from college, living back at home with the parents, dating, everything. And as I've grown older, not older, the blog has too.
Older.
And it appeals to, we have writers that are in their late 20s, their mid 20s, like me. I hope I'm in my mid 20s, and early 20s that have just graduated. So there's like a wide range of topics that everyone touches on.
Right.
So I definitely get my inspiration from things that are happening in the moment for me. And then in my phone, I keep my notes. I keep a list of random topics that I think of.
Okay.
It comes from everywhere.
Yeah.
Like anything that would happen. Like I got a sunburn, so I wrote about sunburns.
It's so easy. That's why we love reading it, though, because it's like, oh, I can relate to this. Like, oh my gosh. But is there any topic for you that's like a little bit taboo or something like you don't necessarily share but someone else might share? That's what I want to know.
I've definitely grown with what I write about. Like at first I was definitely, pretty timid to write about racy topics, and like my parents are gonna read this.
Yeah.
Employers could read this, and I was like, oh, I better not. But then I noticed that the racier the writing, the more the views.
That's crazy, isn't it? It's
and
so
not even,
true.
racier, but also the more honest, and people love it. So now I'd say not really.
Right.
write about anything unless I had no idea about the topic.
Right. So it's like has to be personal. It can't just be like, oh.
I wouldn't put like really personal. I try to steer away from very personal stories.
Okay.
I would write them myself, but the blog is really about appealing to everyone.
Yeah.
So
definitely. Well, and so you had an article on Thought Catalog called 10 Struggles of Being Not Fat but Not Skinny Either that went viral, and it was huge, and I read it and I loved it. And I loved it because it was funny, and it was, you know, oh my God, that's hilarious. But at the same time, it was so true. You know, like little experiences, like going to the beach. You don't want to take your cover up while you're standing up off. You know, you want to like lay down. So I commend you for writing that because it was hilarious. But I feel like it's also still like a sensitive subject for women to read, or, you know, you made it funny, but how was it actually writing it?
So I had no idea that many people were going to react to it and relate to it. I wrote it for, you know, the every girl, the one who's not skinny but not, you know,
not complete, you know, overweight. It's just something inside of them is like, oh, something's wrong or whatever.
And when I posted it to Facebook the first time, started getting a lot of likes and comments from girls that I consider very, very thin. And I was like, okay, I guess everyone relates to this. And guys started commenting, people were contacting me, emailing, and these people were by all means from every type of size and shape.
Okay.
I mean, everyone. Not everyone related to it, but a lot of people did, obviously.
Definitely. That's the great part of it. It's relatable from both ends because you found the middle ground, you know? So the general feedback was kind of, I feel like it's a praise almost of like, good for you, you wrote this, or this helped me so much, or.
So, I mean, it's different for everyone because everyone takes things online differently. Some people take it as a personal attack. Some people think that I'm writing what goes on in my head and only my head. But when I write stuff, I try to write for, you know, a general group of people and try to get inside other people's heads. And I've always been interested. I went to school for television and I love writing. So I think in terms of, you know, creating something like writing in the voice of the every person, something that everyone can relate to but would never say out loud. Like, how many girls would admit at the beach that they don't want to take their cover up off? Like, we all know that it's not an easy thing.
I know, it's almost like you want to, it's not pretending, but you want to feel like, oh, I'm cool with that. And it's like, I'm sure there are people who are. There are definitely people who are, but I feel like the average girl is a little vulnerable to those situations. And that's why it was so great. But I really liked what you just said about when you're writing, it's almost, you're writing for so many people that it's balancing not offending people, but being honest, which is the line that, you know, you kind of have to walk against. And on a kind of similar note, I feel like technology nowadays on the internet, there are so many articles. You know, I feel like BuzzFeed was the first example of this, but now it's kind of that arbitrary number of like 39 reasons you should go to the mall, or like 12 reasons you shouldn't walk your cat, like something really different. And I feel like have articles strayed away from kind of just a straightforward, you know, paragraph, you know, this is my idea. Have we made it too easy for people to read when it's like comment picture, comment picture?
It's getting ridiculous. I know that. It's all about the title of the article and getting people to click on it. And if you see an article on Facebook and it says, you know, 10 reasons why you're awesome, or like, I'm really awesome, which one are you going to read? You're going to read the list because people don't want to read something long. They want to know that they're going to be in and out of the article very quickly. And so if they have a number, then it's kind of like you're reading and you know when it's going to end. But if it's just all this text, I feel like our generation just is like, words, and they don't want anything to do with it.
And I'm a follower of it too. As much as I'm like, oh no, you know, we need like messages and general points. I'm like, I'm going for the 12 reasons. And so, but to end, what is the future of Forever 20-somethings? What are you hoping to write about, or what's, you know, something in the future for us to look forward to?
So the future is unknown. I would hope that the website can become, you know, a pretty bigger website, definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, we have a decent amount of followers, but I'm always striving for more.
Which is good.
Yeah.
That's good.
I definitely want, you know, more writers.
Right.
I'm always looking for writers. I'm always looking for help. We just want to, you know, make everyone, girls and guys that are in their 20s or even older than that, know that they're not alone in, you know, getting through the quarter life crisis and navigating
Not
the world.
alone. Not alone, everyone. Well, Sam, thank you so much for speaking with us today.
Thank you for having me.
Everyone should binge on Forever 20-somethings at forever20somethings.com. Check out her blog. Check out all the writers, the articles. It's awesome. And definitely make sure to follow Girl Talk on Twitter. And I can't thank you enough for being here. It was so fun
Thank you
having
too.
you.
It was so much fun.
Thank you, everyone. Hope to see you soon.